Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic most men think they understand, but very few actually do. And it's costing a lot of men their time, energy, and self-respect. The topic: how to spot when a woman is simply not interested in you. Most women will rarely tell you outright, "I'm not interested." In fact, many will continue entertaining your attention, soaking up your energy, and keeping you around as an option, even when they have absolutely zero romantic interest. This is not because they're evil, it's because human nature, especially female nature, operates differently than most men are taught. The dating world today is flooded with mixed signals, games, and endless confusion. But underneath all the noise, there are crystal clear signs that a woman is not genuinely interested. If you miss these signs, you end up chasing, investing, and ultimately lowering your value as a man. You see, a lot of men fall into the trap of assuming that as long as a woman is talking to them, replying occasionally, or being nice, it must mean she's interested. Wrong. Women can and will keep men orbiting them for attention, validation, or simply because they enjoy the feeling of being pursued with no intention of taking things further. That's why today I'm going to break it down for you. I'll teach you the 7 things a woman will always do when she's not truly interested in you. No guessing, no overthinking, just straight up truth you need to recognize. So, sit tight, pay close attention, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to read between the lines and avoid wasting your time on women who were never serious to begin with. Number 1. She talks about just being friends. When a woman isn't interested, one of the most common ways she'll communicate it is by framing your connection as just a friendship. And many men completely misunderstand this. They think it's a sign of potential that she's being cautious, or that if they hang around long enough she might change her mind. But in reality, the moment a woman positions you as a friend, she's revealing that she doesn't see you as a romantic option. Women do this because they want to let you down gently. They know most men won't take well to outright rejection, so instead they offer a safe, polite alternative. It allows her to keep you close enough to benefit from your time, your attention, your emotional support, all while never having to invest anything romantic in return. This is how many women collect what some call orbiters. These are men who stick around hoping, waiting, believing that one day she'll see them differently, but she won't. Because if she was truly attracted, she wouldn't be able to risk losing you to another woman. She wouldn't need to clarify that you're just a friend because she would want to move things forward naturally. You'll often hear her say things that sound innocent at first. She might casually say, "You're such a great friend," or how much she values your friendship, or how nice it is to have someone she can always talk to. Many men confuse this for emotional closeness, not realizing she's simply creating a safe boundary where she can take from you without giving back. It's not confusion. It's not mixed signals. It's clarity disguised as kindness. Think about a situation where you've been there for her, supporting her, listening to her problems, even helping her through tough times. You finally express your feelings, expecting her to finally see all the value you bring. But instead she smiles and says something like, "I don't want to lose what we have. I value our friendship too much." In that moment, what she's really saying is that she never saw you in that way, and she never will. As a man, it's critical to recognize this pattern early. The longer you stay in this position, hoping her feelings will change, the more you're disrespecting your own value. A woman who truly desires you doesn't risk putting you in the friend zone. She makes it clear through her actions and enthusiasm. The moment you hear the just friends talk, understand that you've already got your answer and it's time to move on. Number 2. Her replies feel like favors. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, communication flows effortlessly. She's eager to respond. She looks forward to your messages, and she engages with real enthusiasm. But when she isn't interested, everything starts to feel like you're forcing it. Her replies start to feel less like natural conversation and more like she's doing you a favor by even responding. You know exactly what this looks like. You send a message, and hours later you get a short, cold reply that barely keeps the conversation alive. You ask a question, and she responds with one word, answers. She never initiates, and when she does respond, there's no energy behind it. You're carrying the entire conversation on your back, while she puts in the bare minimum effort just to keep you hanging. It almost feels like you have to earn every single reply from her. This is where a lot of men start rationalizing her behavior. They convince themselves she's just busy, she's not good at texting, or she's shy. But deep down you feel it. You feel that shift in energy where you're doing all the work while she barely participates. The truth is, when a woman really wants you, it doesn't matter how busy she is. She finds time. She prioritizes you. She's not sitting there measuring how long she can take to respond or calculating how short her messages should be to seem uninterested. Women who desire you want to keep the momentum going because they enjoy talking to you. They don't view replying as an obligation. The problem is most men confuse politeness for interest. Just because she occasionally responds doesn't mean she's into you. Sometimes women will continue replying because they don't want to seem rude, or they're trying to keep you around as an option for attention. But that minimal effort speaks volumes if you're willing to see it. She's not investing. She's not curious about you. She's not trying to get to know you deeper. Every message from her feels like you're pulling teeth to get any engagement. Men often ignore this because they feel losing whatever little connection they think they have. They hold on to the hope that maybe if they keep trying, she'll finally start showing more interest. But the truth is, if she wanted to, she would. Attraction makes communication easy. Disinterest makes it a chore. If you feel like you're constantly waiting for her to reply, wondering why her messages feel cold, or questioning whether she even wants to talk, that's already your answer. You shouldn't have to guess how a woman feels. When she's truly interested, you'll feel it in her effort. When she's not, her replies will feel like a favor she's reluctantly giving you. And as a man, you need to recognize that chasing after minimal effort is a fast way to lose your self-respect. Number 3. She flirts with other men openly. Let's talk about something most men feel but try to brush off. You're with her. Maybe not officially, maybe it's just getting to know each other, but you're emotionally invested. And then it happens, she laughs a little too loud at another guy's joke. She leans in, touches his arm, gives him that smile, and you're just there, watching, trying to act cool, telling yourself she's just being friendly. But deep down, your gut tightens. That reaction, that quiet discomfort you feel in your chest, it's not insecurity, it's not jealousy, it's clarity trying to break through your denial. Here's the truth, when a woman is truly interested in a man, she naturally narrows her focus. She wants him to feel like he's the only one who has her attention, because in her eyes he is. Her feminine energy tunes itself toward what it's drawn to. That means even if she's around other guys, her behavior subtly shifts to signal loyalty, emotional availability, and desire to one man. Now flip the script. If she's consistently flirting with other men in front of you, whether it's playfully teasing, complimenting, or giving off that warm, magnetic energy, it's a red flag, not a cute one. A big, bright, waving in your face flag that says, "You're not the man I'm choosing." And I know what some guys are thinking, but that's just her personality. She's just outgoing. She's trying to make me jealous. Let me stop you right there. When a woman respects and desires a man, she protects that dynamic. She doesn't gamble with his perception of her. She doesn't risk turning him off by sending mixed signals. Why? Because attraction makes her territorial, not in an insecure way, but in a primal, unspoken energy kind of way. She might not say it out loud, but if she's into you, her body language says, "I want to belong to you." So when she's openly flirting with other men, especially in your presence, you're not dealing with just her personality. You're witnessing a lack of investment. You're witnessing a woman who's testing her options, and you're not the front runner. In fact, you might just be background noise she's comfortable ignoring. Let's dig deeper into why this happens. Sometimes it's conscious. She enjoys attention and craves the upper hand in social settings. Sometimes it's subconscious. She's not emotionally attached to you, so she doesn't feel the need to filter her behavior. Either way, the effect on you is the same: confusion, low-level anxiety, second-guessing yourself. And here's the worst part: you start adjusting your masculinity around her behavior. You tone yourself down so you don't seem possessive. You act unfazed even though it burns. You tell yourself to be the bigger person, hoping that your calmness will impress her, but you're not winning her over. You're just slowly killing your edge, and she feels it. A man grounded in Stoic discipline doesn't beg for exclusivity. He doesn't whine or chase. But he also doesn't tolerate ambiguity dressed as casual charm. He sees things for what they are, clearly and without excuse. And what he sees here is a woman who wants the attention of others more than she wants to deepen the connection with him. So what do? Simple. You pull back. Not with anger, not with games, just with quiet certainty. You let her show you by her actions where her desire truly lies. If she doesn't notice your absence, that's your answer. If she does and makes excuses, that's still your answer. But if she comes back with clarity, with energy that's focused, with eyes only for you, then maybe there was just a test. 1. You passed by, walking away with dignity. Let me tell you something that isn't talked about enough. A woman will never respect a man who's afraid to lose her, and that includes the man who tolerates her chasing validation from others while claiming to want him. That includes the man who lets himself be second priority in her presence. Here's the Stoic move you observe. You don't react emotionally, but you adjust your boundaries. You protect your peace. You don't compete for a woman's attention. You command it by the way you carry yourself. And if she's not magnetized by your presence alone, if she needs the spotlight of other men to feel alive, she's not your woman. Real attraction is natural exclusivity. It doesn't have to be demanded. It shows up in how she looks at you, leans into you, shields the connection from outside noise. Anything less than that, you already know. Walk away. Drop it in the comments if you've seen this before. And don't go anywhere, because what's coming next will hit even deeper. It's something most men overlook until it's too late. You need to hear this. Number 4. She avoids physical contact. Let's get real. Physical touch isn't just affection, it's instinct. It's body language stripped of words. When a woman is into you, she'll find reasons to close that space between you. A gentle touch on your arm, leaning in a little closer than necessary, brushing past you, just enough to make it known. I feel safe here. I'm drawn to you. But when she consistently avoids touch, that's no accident. That's the truth showing up in silence. And I'm not talking about big gestures. I'm talking about all the small, almost invisible ones that happen naturally when attraction is present. If you notice, she pulls back when you lean in. If she flinches ever so slightly when your hands come close, or she always keeps just enough distance to avoid even casual contact, that's your answer. Here's something men forget. The female body doesn't lie. Even when she's smiling, talking, or being polite, if her body is retreating, recoiling, or closed off, it's sending the signal her words never will. I don't feel that with you. Not tension, not excitement, not chemistry. This is where many guys get stuck. They think she's just not a touchy person, or worse, she's being respectful. No, man. If she was drawn to you, she'd be pulled in literally. It's not about her being shy or proper. It's about your presence not activating her polarity. Attraction is energetic. Masculine energy draws out feminine softness. Feminine softness welcomes masculine touch. That's nature, not strategy. Now let's look at what Stoicism teaches us here. You're not entitled to her touch. That's not what we're saying. A Stoic man doesn't demand affection, he simply reads what is real and responds accordingly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In this case, her physical distance isn't an obstacle, it's the message. It's the clarity you need to stop guessing and start acting with dignity. Let me give you a practical situation. You're sitting beside her. You lean just slightly, not in a creepy way, but with confident energy. She subtly shifts away. She repositions her body. She folds her arms. And maybe she throws in a little smile to soften it, but the energy has already spoken. Her body is guarding, not opening. Now ask yourself, why are you still trying to melt ice that doesn't want to thaw? It gets deeper. Physical touch is often the gateway to emotional intimacy. If she doesn't allow you to connect physically, chances are she's already put you in a category someone safe to talk to, not someone she desires. And the more you stay in that space, the more you reinforce it. The more you try to prove you're worthy of that closeness, the less magnetic you become. Why? Because masculine power doesn't seek validation through physical approval. It observes, it adapts, and when needed, it walks. Now, if you've been in this spot, let me be clear, you're not broken. You're not doing it all wrong. You're just caught in a dynamic where the energy isn't mutual, and instead of confronting it, you've been hoping it'll change. It won't. Not through more patience, not through better text messages, not through playing it cool and waiting it out. You need to reclaim your position, not by pushing, but by pulling back. When a man steps out of situations where he's not received, not invited in, he becomes powerful again. And ironically, that's often the moment the woman reconsiders, when she senses your energy shift, your absence, creating space. But don't do it to manipulate. Do it to honor yourself. Your presence deserves to be felt, not dodged. And if you're watching this and thinking, damn, I've been in this exact place, write it below. I've felt this. Let's be honest with each other. And while we're being honest, if you've made it this far, it's time to take this seriously. If this kind of content is hitting home for you, subscribe to the channel now. Don't just watch and scroll. Commit to growth. Commit to clarity. And if you're ready to go even deeper into the mindset, the discipline, the silent confidence of Stoic masculinity, become a Stoic Brotherhood member today. This isn't just for content. It's for men who lead themselves. Now, don't go anywhere. The next part will shift how you see everything. You're going to feel it, trust me. Number 5. She always delays plans. Let's be honest, when someone truly wants to see you, they make it happen. No excuses, no reschedules, no vague, "I'll let you know." They create time, they prioritize, they show up. So when a woman constantly delays plans, pushes things off, or keeps you in a maybe next week loop, she's not just busy, she's not interested enough. And here's the trap most guys fall into. They confuse politeness with potential. They take her rescheduling as a sign of real life getting in the way. They think, at least she didn't say no, right, wrong. A delay is just a soft no with sugar on top. And when it happens more than once, it's not an accident, it's a pattern. A pattern that says, you're not a priority, you're an option. Here's something every high-value man understands. Time is currency, and people spend it on what matters to them. If she's constantly too busy, it means your presence doesn't excite her enough to rearrange her calendar. Now, don't get me wrong, life does get busy. People have work, family obligations. But we're not talking about one-off situations. We're talking about consistency. When every time you try to meet up turns into a postponement, when every date idea gets a maybe I'll see, or just pure silence that's not scheduling conflict, that's emotional hesitation. And yet many guys rationalize it. They tell themselves she's overwhelmed. They try harder, offer to meet closer to her place, be flexible, adjust their own schedule, just to get that maybe turned into a yes. Let me ask you something. Why are you bending backward for someone who won't lift a finger forward? A Stoic man doesn't chase possibilities. He lives in realities. He doesn't operate in hypotheticals. He observes behavior. And if her actions consistently delay the connection, he doesn't sit around waiting. He reclaims his time. He refocuses his energy. He moves. One of the hardest truths you'll ever face as a man is this: if she wanted to see you, she would. That's not cold. That's clarity. A woman who wants to be near you physically, emotionally, mentally will find a way. She'll suggest an alternative if something comes up. She'll make the next plan. She'll show signs of effort. But if all you get is delay after delay, you're not being pursued, you're being politely phased out. And here's what happens the longer you stay in that loop. You start questioning your worth. You invest more hoping to tip the scale. You lower your standards just to get something going. All of that weakens you. It takes you out of your masculine frame. It shifts you from chooser to chaser, and you lose power the moment you do that. Now let's talk strategy. When you notice she keeps delaying, don't confront, don't complain. Don't guilt trip her. Just mirror the energy. You take the hint, not emotionally, but tactically. You stop initiating. You give her space, not as a punishment, but as a message. I'm not a man you keep in the maybe pile. That's Stoic control, not reactive. Not needy, just aligned with reality. And guess what? Sometimes when you pull back, you'll see the truth faster. Either she'll reach out, try to re-engage, or she won't. And both outcomes are wins. Because now you're not wasting time trying to win someone who's not even playing. Look, you're not asking for too much. You're asking for reciprocity, for basic human effort, for desire that feels real. If a woman can't even commit to seeing you, what makes you think she'll commit to you? Let that land. And if this hits home, comment below, I stop waiting. Say it, own it, live it. And don't go anywhere what comes next. It's the kind of truth you won't be able to unhear. Number 6. You're always initiating everything. Let's have a brutally honest moment here. If you're always the one who texts first, always the one planning, calling, checking in, following up, asking to meet, then guess what? You're not in a mutual connection. You're managing a one-man show, and the worst part, you know it, you feel it, but you keep going because any response from her feels better than silence. But here's the truth, when you're the only one initiating, what you've actually built isn't a relationship, it's a chase. And bro, that's not love, that's labor. Let's break this down. Attraction, real attraction, is energy that moves both ways. There's flow, tension, curiosity, pursuit. Even if the roles aren't perfectly equal all the time, you can feel the balance. You reach out, she meets you there. You pull back, she wonders where you went. But when it's always you, when she never texts first, never calls to check in, never asks how your day was, never follows up when you go quiet, that's not a woman who's into you. That's someone you're trying to convince. Let's go deeper. You might think she's just reserved, she's not used to initiating, or the classic she likes being pursued. Okay, maybe once, maybe in the beginning, but if she's genuinely into you, she'll find a way to show it. even in small ways. She'll ask if you made it home safe. She'll send a meme that made her think of you. She'll check in if you've been distant. But when it's always radio silence unless you spark something that's emotional breadcrumbs, not interest, and let's not pretend this doesn't hurt. You start questioning yourself. Am I doing too much? Should I wait for her to reach out? Did I say something wrong? You start measuring every little interaction, looking for signs of effort. And when there are none, you still find reasons to stay in it because your ego's now involved. You want the win, but the cost. You're sacrificing your masculine presence just to stay in her orbit. You're slowly shifting from being a grounded man to being a guy hoping for a text. Let's bring in some Stoic truth here. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect, and chasing someone who gives you nothing back." That's how self-respect dies slowly, silently through effort that goes nowhere. You don't have to be cold. You don't have to ghost her. But you do have to recognize this for what it is. If she wanted to connect, she would. Not constantly, not perfectly, but consistently enough for you to feel like a man, not a beggar. So here's what you do. You stop leading the entire dance. You stop texting to keep the thread alive. You stop asking questions just to get a sentence back. Instead, you hold the line. You let the silence be loud. And most importantly, you watch. Because the moment you stop initiating, everything becomes clear. She either steps up or disappears. And either way, you win. Not because you got her, but because you got yourself back. You remembered that your energy is a gift, not a lifeline. That being a man means not just giving, but observing who's worthy to receive. And if that truth stings good, let it sting, because that's the beginning of clarity. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, "Damn, that's me," you're not alone. Drop a comment below, "I don't chase anymore." Say it like you mean it. Let that be your shift. And whatever you do, don't stop here. What's next will break a pattern most men stay stuck in for years. It's time. Number 7. Her attention vanishes when you pull back. This one's brutal. Because it feels like a test, but it's really the result. You've been texting, showing up, investing, keeping the energy alive. And maybe you've started to notice something's off. So you try a little experiment. You pull back. Not in anger, not in some alpha male game, just to see what happens. And what happens? Nothing. She disappears. No check-in. No "Hey, where have you been?" No effort. It's like your absence didn't even register. Let's call that what it is, proof. Proof that it wasn't connection. It was convenience. When a woman's attention only exists when you're constantly present, constantly giving, constantly driving the interaction forward, then it's not real. It's borrowed energy, not mutual desire. Here's what you need to understand. If your presence doesn't matter, then your absence was never going to change anything either. Some women don't miss you when you pull back because they never felt you when you were there. You were just an option, a distraction, a soft backup. And once your energy faded, their attention recalibrated instantly toward whatever else was feeding their ego. This is where a lot of men fall into the trap. They pull back expecting a chase, expecting her to realize what she lost. And when she doesn't, they panic. They come running back more eager, more available, more desperate. That move kills any remaining respect, because now it's clear you didn't pull back from strength. You retreated to manipulate, and when it didn't work, you folded. Stoicism teaches us to observe reality, not react to fantasy. Epictetus said, "If someone succeeds in provoking, you realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." In this context, her silence is not an attack, it's information. And your response determines your level of discipline. So what does it say when her attention vanishes the second you stop feeding it? It says you were never the flame, you were just the fuel. Now this is going to sound harsh, but stay with me. If a woman's interest is only alive when you're actively proving yourself, that's not desire, that's dependency on your energy. She's not drawn to you, she's drawn to the way you made her feel. And the moment you stop giving, the illusion ends. But here's the hard-earned truth. You can't force importance. If she doesn't miss you when you're gone, then nothing you do when you're around will ever be enough. Let that sink in. The healthiest dynamic is this: when you pull back not to play games but to rebalance. A woman who truly sees your value feels the shift. She notices the silence. She responds, maybe not instantly, maybe not dramatically, but genuinely, because you matter, because she feels your presence even in absence. But when she just vanishes, ghosts you completely, doesn't flinch, that's not a test, that's your answer. So what do? You don't chase. You don't remind her of what she's missing. You don't text again just to re-spark the dead fire. You exit internally and externally. You cut the cord where it counts your attention. A man who values himself doesn't chase silence. He honors it. Because silence reveals the truth faster than words ever could. And if you're sitting there thinking, I've done this, I pulled back, she vanished, then say it out loud. Comment below, I accept the silence. Let that be the end of confusion. Let that be the start of your clarity. Because the moment you stop chasing what won't stay on its own, you make space for what actually sees you, respects you, desires you. And before you go anywhere, what I'm about to share next will shift how you see yourself. This isn't about her anymore. This is about you, and what happens when you stop waiting altogether. Number 8. She never gets jealous because she doesn't see you as a man. This one stings, because deep down every man wants to feel chosen, desired, claimed. So when the woman you're pursuing doesn't even flinch when you talk to other women, when she's completely unfazed by attention you get elsewhere, when she sees you hanging with someone attractive and just shrugs, that's not emotional maturity, that's indifference. Let's get this straight. A woman who sees you as a man, a real one, feels something when your energy shifts towards someone else. It might be subtle. She won't lash out or act insecure. But she'll notice, she'll lean in, she'll make it known even without saying a word that you're hers, or at least hers to consider. So when there's zero reaction, when you flirt around, get attention, pull back, and she doesn't move an inch, it's not because she's cool, it's because you're not on her radar. And here's the painful truth. She doesn't see you as a sexual option. You're safe, you're familiar. You're in the category she's labeled as not a threat. In other words, you've been neutered. Now before you get defensive, ask yourself this. Has she ever shown real curiosity about your dating life? Ever gotten a little possessive when you gave someone else attention? Ever tried to get your focus back when she saw it drifting? No. Then, you're not a man she's measuring. You're just in orbit, not in consideration. Let me tell you why this happens. When a man leads with too much comfort, too much emotional availability, too much approval, he gets placed in the friend zone of safety. She can talk to you about her problems. She can vent. She can disappear and come back. She can use your attention to boost her mood because she knows you're harmless. You won't challenge her. You won't walk away. You won't shift the dynamic. So why would she get jealous? There's no risk. And attraction always involves risk. Risk of losing. Risk of competition. Risk of mystery. A man who commands presence creates that edge, not by playing games, but by simply not being fully predictable. He doesn't seek validation, he brings it. And when his attention wanders elsewhere, it stings because it's valuable. So what do you do if you're in this spot? You don't force jealousy. You don't try to make her react. That's low energy. What you do is shift. Internally, silently, you start behaving like a man who has options because you do. You speak less, observe more. You give your time to people who actually reflect interest. You don't announce you're done chasing you, just stop. And soon enough she'll feel the shift. She may try to re-engage, she might not. But either way, the illusion is broken. Because here's what you need to know: jealousy, when healthy, is a signal of value. It means your energy holds weight. It means you matter enough to be missed, fought for, noticed. When she never gets jealous, it's not a sign of confidence, it's a sign you're not in the running. Let that truth set you free, not to be bitter, but to be honest. Because once you stop trying to wake someone up who's never looking in your direction, you start facing the people who actually see you. If this hits you hard, you're not alone. Comment below, "I stop proving myself." Let that be your line in the sand. And listen carefully. You've made it this far, but what comes next might just rewire how you see every interaction going forward. Stay right here. Number 9. She enjoys the attention but never gives anything back. Let's talk about one of the most common traps guys fall into. You meet her, she's charming, smiles when you text, replies just enough to keep it going. Maybe she even compliments you sometimes. You feel the spark, or at least you think you do. But here's what's really happening. You're doing all the giving, she's doing all the receiving, and she loves it. She loves that you're checking in. She loves that you notice her stories, that you compliment her outfit, that you keep the energy flowing. But when it comes time for her to invest, to give something back, emotional effort, time, curiosity, affection, nothing. Just a soft smile, a heart emoji. Maybe a "you're so sweet." Let's call this what it is. Attention, extraction. She's not building anything with you, she's feeding off of you. And the worst part, you think you're getting somewhere, but you're not. You're spinning your wheels in a fantasy that only exists because you're pouring in more than she ever asked for. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't about blaming her. Some women aren't doing this maliciously. Sometimes it's unconscious. But the effect is the same. You're being drained. Your energy, your focus, your masculine drive, all being redirected into a woman who gives you just enough to stay hopeful, but never enough to be clear. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because hope, when it's unearned, becomes delusion. You start telling yourself, "She's just busy, she's being careful, she's testing me." No, man, she's just taking what you're giving, and giving nothing back because she doesn't have to. Here's what a woman who's interested actually does. She gives you signals without you always prompting. She engages not out of obligation, but out of excitement. She brings something to the table: energy, warmth, curiosity. Even a shy woman, even one with walls up, will find some way to show investment if she cares. But this woman, she just takes. And let me tell you something, Stoic. The moment you realize your value, you stop giving it away for free. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In this context, be willing to walk away from something that looks good on the outside but gives you nothing inside. Be willing to be misunderstood, to be called cold, to be labeled distant or too much. Because you choosing to stop feeding attention into a one-way mirror, that's not weakness, that's self-command. Here's the brutal irony. The moment you stop giving her attention, her power disappears. Not because she's evil, but because her hold on you was never based on real connection. It was based on your willingness to keep showing up while getting nothing in return. And when you stop showing up, she'll either vanish or panic. Both are answers. You don't need a dramatic exit speech. You don't need to guilt her, explain yourself, or ask for clarity. You already have clarity, because real connection, You feel it. You don't have to force it. So if you've been that guy, the one always showing up, always pouring in, always hoping today's the day she gives something back, comment below, I stop feeding empty connections. Let that be the moment you draw the line. Because from here on out you give your attention with intention, not to get something, but to build something with someone who shows up with you, not just for you. And stay with me. You've made it through all 9 signs. But what I'm about to say next will pull it all together. The real move isn't about her anymore. It's about what you do now. Number 10. She keeps you close but just out of reach. You've probably been there. She texts you late at night. She compliments you when she feels like it. She opens up just enough to keep the connection alive. But every time you try to take a step closer, emotionally, physically, whatever, she retreats. It's like you're on a leash. Long enough to roam, but never long enough to actually reach her. This is one of the most confusing dynamics a man can experience, because it feels like something's there. She's not ignoring you. She's not ghosting you. In fact, she seems warm. Sometimes. But every time you try to level it up, she pulls the rug. Plans fall through. She's not ready. She says things like, "I really like you, but I'm just not in the right headspace." Or worse, "You're such a good guy, don't change." Let me break that down for you. What she's really saying is, "I like the way your attention makes me feel, but I don't want more." That's not vulnerability, that's control. She's keeping you close, emotionally available, always around, always hoping, but just out of reach, so you don't actually get what you're after, a real connection. And if you're not careful, this dynamic will eat you alive, because it trains you to be patient in the wrong way. It teaches you to keep proving your worth, hoping that one day she'll wake up and choose you. But she won't, because you've already taught her she doesn't have to. She knows you'll wait, that you'll keep checking in, that you'll still be there when her plans fall through, when her mood shifts, when her ego needs a boost. It's not about her being evil, it's about you forgetting who you are. Now here's the Stoic lesson. A man who knows his value doesn't exist in emotional limbo. He doesn't confuse mixed signals for potential. He doesn't take breadcrumbs and call it nourishment. He sees things clearly and acts accordingly. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." So let me ask you, what does a good man, a grounded, clear-minded man do when a woman strings him along? He doesn't rage. He doesn't beg for clarity. He doesn't try to convince her. He lets go, not as a strategy, not to make her chase, but because he doesn't stay in places where he's only partially wanted. You have to be honest with yourself. She's not confused. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's managing you, keeping you emotionally engaged, so she doesn't feel alone while never truly letting you in. And you've allowed it because part of you is afraid that walking away means losing something that might still happen. But here's the truth. If she wanted you fully, she wouldn't keep you on standby. She'd make it known. She'd make it work. She'd make it real. So here's the shift. Stop being available to people who won't cross the same distance you've already covered. Stop showing up for someone who only sees you as a safety net. You're not here to be a maybe. You're here to be chosen or not at all. And when you adopt that mindset, everything changes. Suddenly you're not bitter. You're not waiting. You're watching and acting in truth. So if you've been stuck in that half space, close enough to feel seen, but never enough to feel held, comment below. I let go of almost. Say it for yourself. Say it so you remember. If you've made it this far, you already know the truth. You can't control how she feels. You can't force connection. And you definitely can't beg your way into respect. But what you can control is how you respond. You can choose to stop chasing people who don't see you. You can choose to stop giving your attention away like it's worthless. You can choose to become a man who's centered, clear and powerful, with or without her. That's what Stoicism is. Not coldness, not detachment. It's strength through clarity, peace through presence. So if this spoke to you, don't just scroll away and forget it. Subscribe to the channel. This is where we train, where we sharpen, where we remember who we are. And if you're ready to go even deeper, join the Stoic Brotherhood. It's not just content, it's a community for men who lead themselves without apology. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay grounded.